you know when you have a good contractor, once you start having problems, how they handle the problems.
Talk me through, I guess, what you guys look for from a core values perspective in employees, especially in 2026.
I have one rule in the Grant Maury job is once we start a project, there cannot be one day with no teammates working on that project during the duration of the job.
You are watching another episode of Unconventional Materials, and I have the one, the only Grant Maury Design Build joining me on today's episode. I'm super excited by our guests. We have John Grant and Ben Maury from Grant Maury Design Build. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
We're super stoked to have you guys. Part of today's episode, I want to talk about, obviously, the journey of how you guys have grown Grant Maury Design Build out in Orange County to the point that you guys have gotten it to 7 years ago, if I remember correctly, of when you guys started the company. So without any further ado, I guess I'll just ask you, John, maybe you want to kick it off. How the heck did you start this thing and why did you do it?
That's a good question. So, yeah, Ben and I had the fortunate circumstance of meeting about 7 years ago now. Both were working in the industry at the time, and Ben was working as a kitchen and bath specialist, painter by most of his trade, I would say. I was working as a builder on a smaller scale, and we got linked up through a mutual connection. And we worked a couple jobs together, realized that basic work ethic and, kind of appreciation for the trades and the industry were aligned. And so one job turned into, a few more jobs. And we started discussing the prospect of possibly, joining forces and what this might look like if we, became one company. And, 7 years later, we're gratefully in the position where we are now to be able to say that, we have a full service design build firm beneath us. We have great employees, great clients, and, the product and the services that we offer to market is something that we feel is different and unique. And, together we created that through, 7 years of evolution, so to speak. So
Love it. And I always like to say that there's, I haven't seen that duos in construction or joint partnerships always work out very well in residential construction because there's a lot of, there's ego, there's conflicting ideas oftentimes. But you guys have been able to create something really beautiful in your dynamic where, as I understand it, Ben is kind of the operations helm of the company, and John, you are more so like the sales and marketing side of the company. Obviously, we're going to get into that side, but I think I'm more interested in the fact that Ben, you came from Saint Martin in France with a background in masonry, if I understand correctly. And so, how did you even get to the U.S. in the first place and meet John?
Okay, yeah, so my background is not masonry, believe it or not. My background is, I was in the law enforcement in France. And I was deployed in Saint Martin back then, and I met my wife. My wife was on vacation, and I was deployed over there for about 3 months. And after the first week of me being there, I met my wife. She's American. And, we had to talk, with sign languages because I didn't speak English back then. Anyways, long story short, when I finished my deployment, 3 months later, I came to Saint-Clément to visit my wife. She's from here. And, that's our love story. I fell in love. I told my wife I'm never going back to France. So I came to America and... I started working little jobs here and here. I got a fiancé visa with my wife, and with that I got my green card, and then I started to work construction, trying to, make a living, and that's how I met John on one of the jobs, and that was the beginning of our story.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's again, this is why I want to invite you guys onto the show, because the show's obviously called Unconventional Materials, and your guys' story is quite unconventional in its essence. But moving into, I guess, like the state of the company and where it currently is. I know that you guys specialize full service design build. When we hear design build nowadays, it's a bunch of different definitions out on the internet of what it actually means. So, how do you guys approach the design build process in your company? Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, a couple of years back, we kind of came up with the concept of implementing this to our clients and directing feedback and kind of see what direction we feel it's moving. We did see that early on in our connection together that there was a gap, or there was a miss in what design was offering the market, what construction was offering the market, and how those two different groups seemed to be a little disjointed, right? And there was a gap in communication, or a gap in follow through, or a gap in deliverables. And so we Ben and I started talking and came up with this concept of what we feel is the winning formula as it relates to customer support and overall build product. And so what was created from our conversations was the implementation of a full service design build firm that we feel caters not only to our clients and what they are looking to have done in their respective homes, but along the way it supports and caters to the execution or the build part of the project or part of the process. And so it's so important, we feel, that design as it relates and build respectively work simultaneously in coincidence with each other throughout the entire stage of the project, not only from design concept and we have no idea what we want, but we need your help, to now we're ready to start the work, and now that design and that concept and that theory moves into execution, and that's where Ben and his team are experts in making that vision come to life. So we are all in and passionate about the design build approach. We think it's something that is current, is necessary in fulfilling a successful project delivery, and so it's been a fun journey, and we are only as good as the design team and the support members that we have behind us, and we have a really good team that we've hand selected and worked together with to kind of fine tune and tweak the process that we have built, and it's fun. It's fun to do, for sure.
Yeah, I can totally imagine. And part of the fact that you obviously mentioned the star-studded team that you have, and the fact that you guys have taken intentional time to figure out, first of all, who you need to hire, rather the role you need to hire, and then the person that's going to fill that role. And so I guess, given the fact that you have design in-house, was that kind of always the original intention, or did you guys kind of want to play with the idea of bringing outside designers and work through your internal process that way?
Well, I think having the design came up, when we started, John and I, John's background is foundation and framing. My construction background is finishes, like kitchens and bathrooms. So I was used to deal with a lot of third-party designers. And when we started our company, we felt like, it would be so much more convenient, practical, and faster for us to just come up with an all-in-one product. So that gives us an opportunity to meet with our clients and just make faster decisions. And ultimately, when we deliver a product, it's way more efficient to go, with a group like ours that handles the design and the operations, and rather than calling different third-party designers that sometimes takes a long time to respond, and it's just a no-brainer. Once you start working this way, it's very hard to come back with a more traditional way to hire out, designers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Given the fact that you guys have had many projects under your belt at this point, I imagine there's maybe one, maybe two that really stick out to you more recently that you guys have worked on. Not so much because it's been a fun project to work on, but maybe because of the different things that you guys have learned throughout the process of building it. So, are there any specific? I mean, I mentioned the Laguna Beach job to John that I oftentimes drive by, but I am curious to hear from you guys. Are there any specific jobs that you guys are either actively working on or recently worked on that kind of fit the lesson mold that I'm asking about?
You answer this one. It's your turn.
Well, from my side of the desk, so to speak, the long answer to the question is every project is a little unique and different, and I feel every client kind of has their own vision and wish list as it relates to what they envision their house to become. When projects come across my desk and I'm able to meet with clients on the early stage, there's always a few that inevitably I kind of gravitate more towards, and think this would be a fun project to work through and design together with the client. One of the projects that comes to mind without giving any names is a project that we are actually currently under construction now in Newport Beach. And the reason why this project, from my side of the desk perspective, has been fun was that we started with an original house which the clients felt was too small for their growing family, and they decided that they wanted to basically redesign and create a brand new house. And so our team was tasked and gratefully accepted the contract to not only design the interior finishes and related spaces, but the actual home itself. So it took the whole design and build concept to literal formality there. And so that's been a fun one to kind of work through. That process alone took a year or more to develop and ensure that we were delivering to the client exactly what they wanted. And now that we've turned it off or turned it over to build, we're working our way through the fun aspects of it. And it's really neat to be able to take something that is brand new and creates something for the homeowners that they're thrilled and excited about because their vision is actually coming to life. So for me, a project like that is really fun and interesting and unique. And we take projects all the time where we leave a few walls standing here or there. We move around walls and do some space planning, et cetera, and we work on design. But to be able to take an existing structure and see how the family was living in it, and then remove it completely, same lot and everything, and then build a brand new structure that accommodates the growing family. I think something like that is really fun and cool to do. So, yeah.
And me, as far as I'm concerned, is when we do like big remodels, we have an existing structure and the clients come to us with a vision. And, our job is to execute on that vision and make it happen. And, it's a challenge to build a house and make, for example, an open concept when you have a house that's built in the 60s. And, when you have to bring, massive pieces of steel to make that house opened up and make the project, come to life with the new design, that's really, that's the part that I love the most, making an older home look like a brand new remodel, a brand new house. It's challenging, and that's what, gets me to get up every morning, trying to do something different.
I can imagine how fulfilling that is, and a lot of the projects that I've seen, especially on the Grant Maury website, like I had mentioned off camera, like some of the Nelly Gill Ranch projects that you guys have done, and talking about taking older homes and beautifying them and modernizing them in a unique way. You guys have been able to do that really successfully. I guess my head naturally goes to the next place, which is leading a team of people. Like, obviously, Ben, you're not the person who is bringing in the steel and actually, putting it up, and John, you're not the person who's, doing all the framing work or the foundation work either. And so, talk me through, I guess, what you guys look for from a core values perspective in employees, especially in 2026. What specifically do you guys look for in a team member?
That's a great question.
So, first of all, I like to say that we lead by example. A lot of contractors out there, especially design build firm, are what we call the paper contractor, where it's not a knock on them at all. It's just that a lot of those contractors actually never wore bags. We call that a bag, a set of bags with tools. John and I come from the field, so we've been doing that for years prior to us starting our company. And so we have that, work ethic of, working hard for our money. So I think that's one thing I want to point out. And as far as selecting our subcontractor or employees, it comes down to, being good humans, being people that want to work hard, have good core values. A lot of our employees and subcontractors are family men. It's like a big family basically. We all have a great relationship. Our subcontractors, are vetted. We work with them for years. Our employees are with us for many years as well. And I feel like this is part of the equation that makes us, successful. Is we value our employees, we value our subcontractors, we trust them with our own families. Something that's the most important thing for me is to have the right people on the job, and I think our client can vouch for that.
I would agree with that. As far as like, obviously the good people, these are family people, these are people that, you guys deeply trust. Those conversations don't just happen by, having one phone call with them or meeting with them on site one time. What specifically goes into determining whether somebody's a good person or if they're just giving you lip service? Because I feel like there's a lot of subs who talk a good talk, and then as soon as it comes time to actually building the thing, it's a mess.
I always say to our clients, when you talk to your general contractor, everybody talks a big game. When you have a good contractor, once you start having problems, how they handle the problems. Right? When you build a new home or you do remodels, you always run into problems.
Right.
You can have problems with the city, delays with the utility companies, problem with the neighbors. So the way the subcontractors deal with the issues, to me, that's a good, way to see their faithfulness to our company.
Right.
Right? Like,
Right.
hey, when we get a price from a contractor, on paper, they see a set of plans and they give us an estimate per the set of plans. Sometimes when you start the job on the field, it's missing information. And, it's not always a game of, charging the homeowner more money. Sometimes you just have to have a conversation with subcontractor and say, you know what, you're in it with us for the long run. You're going to do a lot of jobs for us. I understand this one, you're probably not going to make as much money as you thought you would. I'd like you to look into it as an opportunity, and on the next job, hopefully you're going to make it up for it.
To add to that, I think the long-term commitment to the subcontractor relationship is what you're talking about here, Ben, which is I recognize that you may not be the happiest on the outset right now, but we're committed to you and to, most importantly, to our client right now to do an amazing job for them. But more than that, we want to forge a positive relationship on future projects that we work on together. So I just love that you said that, because I think that a lot of times contractors can have these churn and burn, like a churn and burn mindset when it comes to subcontractors. And then they look around and they're like, dude, I have nobody else to sub my work out to because I've burned all of my bridges, and
Right.
so I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, that's not what we do. We don't burn bridges. We are a small company in a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Like I said, we used to work on the field. We know how hard it is to get our money. And so I think our subs know that, and that's why they're grateful to work for us. And, as a lead of operation, if I make a phone call tomorrow and need an electrician on site, the next day I know I'm going to have guys over there working hard for us.
But I'm gonna make a correction. I wouldn't call you guys a small company at this point. I mean, maybe like 6 years ago, I would say that. I would call you guys a premium boutique firm, and meaning that you may be smaller in terms of your headcount, but in terms of the work product that you guys are able to deliver, I mean, it's unbelievable. And so, speaking of the future and where it is that you guys want to take the company, what is the plan for 2026 and 2027 moving on?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So we're constantly, having these internal conversations about, where do we see us in the future? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Where can we be? Be better as a company? And so, in answer to your question, Lev, I would say, the focus on our end is to continue establishing a very high value product, reinforcing a high level customer experience, and growing the company from within, right? And establishing a good clientele base that appreciates and sees the value and services that we offer, and aligning for a long term, as your point, as you mentioned earlier, in connection with one of Ben's points, a long term relationship, not just with our subcontractors and our employee team, but our clients as well. And so, short couple year vision is to improve, quality control and maintain high level customer experience, which we feel is getting better every year, and continue to market to and push to the right client that is in need of the services that we feel we're ideal at, right? Implementing our core values, which are honesty, integrity, submitting all of our projects with a high level of gratitude and thankfulness for not just the client, but all of the teammates that we get to work with on a daily basis, the subcontractors, the design team, the in-house employees, the vendors that we work with and communicate. So for us, the short answer would be to establish and continue to grow and foster those relationships that we've worked really hard to build over the last 6-7 years, and continue pushing and evolving into what we feel our strengths are, which are implementing those core values of honesty, integrity, and an overwhelming sense of gratitude in what we do every day. So
Heck yeah. Systems. I will always like to ask about systems, and mainly just because of the fact that when I work with contractors, one of the biggest things that we help them implement are, kick butt systems that absolutely blow the socks off of the clients that they work with. And so I want to hear from you guys, what is a system that maybe you've implemented in the last year that has been transformational for your customer experience?
it's a good question.
I'll let you talk about the estimating, and then we can talk about the operation.
I mean, just to kind of high level this, I mean, Ben and I are both familiar with the construction industry. I grew up in it. My grandpa was one of the original builders in South Orange County. My dad followed in his suit, and then, gratefully, I grew up around it and had the opportunity to learn at a very young age, whether or not I wanted to, some systems and operations as far as how to do certain things in the industry. And so with that, our experience, but my experience specifically, I try to keep my systems and processes as simple as possible, right? I don't want to overcomplicate, and I definitely don't want to confuse any teammates as it relates. And so we started when, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we sat down and we, literally put pen to paper. What type of a product do we want to deliver to our client? and what are our basic core values. And so, remaining true to that, we created a system that allows for us to deliver to market, right? And so, in order to do that, we wanted to keep it simple so that everyone around us felt that this was something that they could buy into at a very early stage, and see honest results and move from there. So we created a system. I did as it relates to lead flow and overall marketing, as well as collecting bids and estimates. I have the gratitude and the fortunate, we have the fortunate ability of having a dedicated, hand-selected teammate that handles and manages all things estimating related for the company. We didn't at all times, but the position kind of grew as we naturally grew, and so my system basically revolves around lots of communication with this teammate to allow for a very holistic and detailed estimate. And so part of that process involves that teammate, that lead estimator, reaching out to the client after I have already met with them and introduced our services, and him scheduling what we call an open house. And so the teammate that runs this position would then meet on site, similar to a real estate open house, so to speak, and we'll invite hand-selected subcontractors that are specific to the project at hand to come, look at the job, meet with the clients, meet with our team leads, our design team if needed, to get a really holistic approach on what it is we're going to be doing there. So it's not just we're sending out documents to be able to have them bid, but more importantly, we're doing that, and in addition, we're creating an interaction with our clients, right? And the ability for the subcontractors to physically see and intercept any problems in the field, since we're dealing with remodels for the most part. So my system, one of the core values that I feel like or one of the key initiatives that we've implemented over the last year or two has been those open houses, right? Where we, differently than our competition, set aside time to actually invest in the project and make sure we try to get as much information on the estimate as we possibly can, which separates us from our competition out there.
Yeah, and on the operations side, I feel like the biggest issue homeowners have with their builders is a communication issue. Or they will tell you that, I had the contractor come to the house, he worked 2 days, and then we didn't see them for a week, and then they came back. And so what I implemented with the operation is that, first of all, we have a schedule, a Gantt chart that's being sent to the homeowner prior to starting a job. So they know exactly which teammate comes on what days, and they expect a date, a completion date per line of business. And then on top of that, we have weekly meetings with myself and the homeowner and the lead project manager, where we discuss, what's been done during the week, what's going to be in the next future as far as schedule. We talk about city inspection. We talk about design, etc., etc. And I really feel like that's what takes us apart from the competition, is we have a constant communication going on with the homeowners. Like every day, we are on a text thread or an email thread, and we meet and we just discuss openly about the job. And I have one rule in the Grant Maury job is once we start a project, there cannot be one day with no teammates working on that project during the duration of the job.
Yeah.
So once you start breaking ground, you can expect every day, except the weekends, of course, but every day someone at the house to do something.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah,
that's powerful. Between the open house that you had mentioned there, John, and the frequency of the communication that you had mentioned, Ben, it sounds like you guys kind of have formed, again, a simple system, but an effective system to keep people in the loop and keep them excited about the next step of what's to come with their project. Which honestly, I think that's, I would say, the one of the biggest qualms that I hear from homeowners, which is, I don't know what's happening next, right? Like I think that we're here right now, and this person in front of me is saying all these things that are going to happen. But when your project timeline is 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, or even 18 months, all those words become less and less meaningful. Would you guys kind of agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel we both are in complete agreement in this. I would say that I think to be successful in this industry, I mean, communication has to be at the forefront of what you're, offering to your client. Um, good, bad, or indifferent, communication is an absolute must. And so, yeah, to your point, Lev, I think we hear about it a lot. We'll come in behind, some builders or some contractors to help kind of, finish out projects where it didn't end the way, or it didn't end the way that the previous contractor and the client wanted it to. We'll have to come in and help out. And a lot of times we hear, we ask, like, what happened and where did it go wrong? And a lot of it is just communication or the lack of, right? And so, yeah, we couldn't agree more that communication is definitely something we emphasize here at GM, and all of our teammates know and understand that extreme company policy values and emphasizes high level communication. Yeah, so
I love that. I love that. And that's reflected in actually one of the reviews that I had pulled, and it was from, I think, one of your guys' clients who left you a review about 8 months ago. He said, "We used Grant Maury for our kitchen and family room remodel, which involved some major architectural and structural changes. Before selecting GM, we asked many of our friends and neighbors if they could recommend a contractor. What we consistently heard back was that no one had a positive enough experience to recommend their contractor. Well, our experience could not have been more different. From the very beginning, I had a good feeling about John and Ben and felt that they were both very good at what they do, ethical and fair. I was not disappointed. They gave us a very competitive bid and worked very closely to bring our vision to life." But this is the part that I want to highlight. They were incredibly responsive, and I always felt that they were that we were their most important project, even though I know that they had other projects going on at the same time. I'm not going to continue, but that one line in that review right there, if anybody is listening to this or watching this can pull something from this podcast, I think it's John and Ben's commitment to customer interaction and making sure that the customer feels as though that they are the only project that they are actively working on. It is one of the hardest things to do, and I think that only some of the best companies in the hospitality industry have been able to pull this off. So when I see contractors operating at this level, not to blow smoke up you guys, but kudos to you guys. That is not an easy thing to do at all. I guess I'll end our little back and forth, our little conversation by asking you guys, just outside of work, who are you guys? What should people know about Ben? What should people know about John?
I'm going to start with me. I mean, both of us are, into fitness and into health, right? We try to eat well, we try to work out, as often as we can. I'm a big car guy, car enthusiast, and motorcycle guy. That's, some vices of mine. And, we both have kids. I have two young daughters. They play a lot of sports. That's taking, all my time on the weekends. And I'm gratefully married to my wife. She's amazing. And I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for her. So that's very important, to have somebody that supports you, especially when you run a high-stress company like this.
Yeah. What about yourself, John?
yeah, I mean, to echo Ben's point, I think Ben and I have often talked about this, that we are the luckiest men alive to have the wives that we have, that support us on a daily and allow us to, be able to create this product and this brand that we've established over the years. It's not easy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of long hours. and late nights, early mornings. But it's a commitment that we both feel supported on from both of our spouses. And so, yeah, to Ben's point, I'm extremely grateful. Married to my high school sweetheart. 22 years now we've been married. We have 4 kids. So I would like to consider myself a big family man. I'm proud as heck of my kids and who they are and the type of people that they're turning into. I love spending time on the weekends with them, surfing with my boys as much as often as I can, and just being a good part of the community. And Ben mentioned he's a car lover and aficionado, and so just getting out in the community and being part of it and supporting, and just Ben always likes to use the phrase, when we're acting as parents and representing, who we are as adults, and the phrase always comes to mind where he says, we're trying to raise good humans, and I think that's ultimately what we both agree on, and it is as simple as that. We both agree and appreciate those core values that. What we're doing and who we are as a representation of our entire family. And so, so
very grateful.
Amen.
Yeah, and I could see that the gratitude permeates throughout the conversation. You guys give credit to where credit is due, and so with the gratitude in mind, I think it would be fair for me to give my gratitude for you guys. For one, taking the chance, taking the leap 7 years ago and starting this thing, coming together to do it. But the second thing is for being on Unconventional Materials. I greatly appreciate local builders who are creating an incredible impact in our local communities all across the U.S. And if you guys want to find more about John and Ben, please visit grantmaury.com. I will leave the link in the show notes and the description down below. You could also find their Instagram page as well. And should you need to, you could reach out to them directly to discuss a consultation for your next project. I think that's pretty much it. Any last words that you guys want to plug or say?
Just thank you for watching us. And like Lev said, if you want to reach out, even if it's to talk about cars or kids sports or whatever, feel free to reach out.
For sure. Thank you so much for being on the show, guys. And once again, as mentioned, you will find all of the information down below. Thank you for watching another episode of Unconventional Materials, and I will see you guys in the next episode.